Am I audible? Can anyone reply?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So hi, welcome all. Firstly, apologizes for being late. Then, so without wasting any more time, let's start into the today's session. So today we are going to deal with HTML, CSS, JavaScript Bootcamp, Firebase for web. So this is the first session. We'll be having another session. So we'll let you know when it is. So under web development, we generally have two things. One is the front end, the other is the back end. So under front end, okay. So in front end, the front end developer is responsible for creating the look, feel, and the interactiveness components of a website. Not only any website, any web page, or any product what we are going to develop. So front end developer is responsible for that look and feel components. So here you can see this is the HTML part, like the bird which has only the skeleton and the flesh on it, while we can see this when we add the CSS components onto this part, we can see the colorful bird. So today's topic, what we are going to do is knowing about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML gives the structure and the content of the web page, and CSS gives the visual aspects, the color, style, background color, font size, and so on. And JavaScript is used for interactivity. So next, let's dive deep into HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML allows us to define the structure of a document or a website. So HTML defines the structure. Then HTML is not a programming language. It's just a markup language. So its purpose is to give the structure of the content, structure to the content of the website, but not to define any kind of algorithms, programs, coding, and all. So this is a basic structure of an HTML page. So previously we have told you, right, to have a installed VS Code. So okay, we'll close all this. HTML. Yes. So yeah. Index.html. Okay, so this is in the VS Code. Practically, it looks as this way. Let me zoom in. Yeah. So this is the HTML tag, head tag, followed by under the head we are going to have the title. Then we are below the head we are going to have the body tag. So HTML surrounds the entire page. So the starting of the web of the HTML, the program, and the ending of the program will be surrounded by the HTML tag. Inside the HTML, we are going to have the head tag. Now, head contains metadata, CSS, JavaScript code, like we are going all the links with the other tags, with other pages, we are going to have it in the head tag. And in the title, we are going to give the title, which is going to be displayed on the top of the tab. And body. In this body, we are going to specify what is the content and the structure of the web page. Now, under tags, we are going to have two things. One is element and attribute. Elements are nothing but, let's say this is a head tag, or we can say it is a body tag, or few more tags are, many more tags are there, which we'll be going to discuss now. So this is a style or the structure, or you can say it is a syntax. Like we are going to have a starting tag and the content in between them and the ending tag. Now attribute is, to this element, we can have some attribute like say border, color, style, alignment, etc. So that, so tags are generally like a container. So in that container, you can store other tags or the content itself. So head and body are the children of HTML. You can see, right? So under HTML, we are going to get the head and the body. So that is the reason head and body are the children of HTML. Most of the HTML tags have opening and closing tags. Most of them, but there are few tags which are self-closing also. We will come to know them. So HTML is an case insensitive language. You can write them in both uppercase and lowercase. Okay, this is a basic structure. So this is you can see, right? So div tag. We are using a div tag. So the tag, this is a tag name. This is the attribute. These are the comments, and this is the text. What we are writing in between the tags. This is a button, and this is a self-closing tag. So img image. Img is a image tag. So it does not require any closing tag. So it is a self-closing tag. So these are the few tags. So we will be doing live. Okay. Now, okay. Now let's start with some few basic tags. Now the first basic tag will be in the h1. H1 is nothing but the header tag. So in this header tag, in this title, we'll be giving some useful name. Generally, it is given as document, but you can give your own names. So let's say we'll give it as Bootcamp. Okay. Now in the body tag, under body h1 tag, we'll give it as say web development. Okay. So there is an extension called live server. Under extensions, if you go and search for live server, there is an extension. You need to install that extension. It is a useful extension. It is used. After installing that, you will be getting a button as go live down right there. When you click on that, your browser will be broken and you can see the output of what you have coded. So if you have not created any web page till now, then congratulate yourself, because this is going to be your first web page. So looking like this is a very simple web page. So Bootcamp is the title of the web page what you were given. I'm zooming it. Okay. Now this is the web development what you have given in the h1 tag. So Now there are under header tag, there are multiple things like okay, H2, H3. Now this H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6 gives us sizes, variance in the size. Now once when you save the code and see, okay, so this is, you can see the size variations, right? So generally we use H1 for the main headings, and which are more prior, with more prior information. So for that tag, for that content, we give the H1 tag, and for sub contents under that, we can use H2, H3, H4, and so on. So this is the use of heading tag. Under heading, now we have another tag as paragraph. Now in para, you can type any content like welcome to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootcamp. So when you save it, so it got reflected on our web page. Welcome to HTML, JavaScript. So this is the use of paragraph tag. You can have multiple paragraphs also. Lorem 45. Okay. Now lorem is used for giving some dummy data. So just for explanation, I have used some dummy data. Now once I save it and I'll go to my website browser, you can see. So we can use multiple paragraph tags as well. So then, yes, for highlighting these tags, now you can use, okay. Now if I want to do any kind of suggestions, or I want to know like this is heading tag, this is a paragraph tag, now we can use comments. So in HTML, comment is gonna be like this. Okay. So in between this, you can do your comments. So this is a comment. Okay. So this is gonna be like this way, comment. So after comment, we'll be knowing about some text styles. So in between somewhere here, so we can use this is bold. So bold, for bold, we are having the tag as B. This is bold, and close the tag. So you can see, so this is bold. So what we have written in between the B tags will be displayed as bold. You can see the output as well. This is bold, is displayed in bold. So also we have something as I tag. I tag is used for italic. This is Italic Fonts. So you can see the changes have been reflected. This is italic font. This is written in italic style. And you can even underline some tags. Okay. Now if you use U, now let's say I want to underline these 3 words. So you need to place the U tag in between the content what you want to underline. So after making the changes, save the changes and go onto the browser and see the reflections of the changes. So so the content what is specified in between the U tags will be underlined. Hope you guys are following me. If you have any doubts, you can comment in the chat box. Okay. So then okay. Okay. Now let's see about another tag. This is the anchor tag. Here. Now anchor tag is used for URLs. So we'll write in the comments used for URLs. Now in the href, you have 2 semicolons, right? So in this semicolons, you need to specify the URL to which you want to redirect. So as of now, let's say https youtube.com, and in between the tags, between the a tag, you need to specify the content which need to be displayed on the website. So let's say open YouTube. So save this. So on the website, you can see open YouTube. When you click on this, you will be redirected to the URL which you have specified, youtube.com. Right. So let's get back. So likewise, you can have a number of tags. Okay. Let's say we'll try to have 3-4 different tags, different URLs. We'll log into YouTube. Then we have LinkedIn. We have Facebook. Okay. So correspondingly, you need to change the URLs. So for Google, it is google.com. For LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com. Facebook.com. Save that content and see. So you can see all the 4 are on the same line. So you can change them to different lines as well. So here is the introduction to new tag, that is the BR tag. BR stands for line break. So yeah, break tag. So when you use the BR, the content will be shifted to the next line. Okay. BR. So when you see that, you can see all the 4 are in different lines. So let's see whether it's working or not. Now I have clicked on your LinkedIn page has got loaded, but you can, but as a user, it will be good if the tab will be opened on the next tab instead of loading on the same page. So for that, there is a small attribute. So this is, till now we have discussed about only the elements, the tags and the elements of it. Now this is the attribute. Now in the anchor tag, there is an attribute as target. Target underscore blank. Blank. So save this. Now for YouTube, we have given the target as blank. When you click on the YouTube, so you can see it is getting opened on the next tab. The tab which we are working on is as is. So this is the use of attributes. Okay. So this is the image tag. Now even so we can, there is another. So BR. BR is a self-closing tag. BR doesn't need any closing tag. While you can see, right? So B is a needs to opening and closing tag. U needs opening and closing. I needs opening closing. P needs opening closing. So all these tags needs opening and closing. But BR, and there is also another tag called HR. HR gives a line. Now you can see there is a line which is drawn. So it is used for separation or to know like this is there is a division between the two contents. So for that separation, we use the HR tag. So here I will keep here also one HR so that we can separate that. These are all about here heading tags. This is all about paragraph. Now this is all about URL. Now I'll be using another HR. Now let's discuss about uh, images. So the tag for image is img. So when you see this, it will be asking for a source and alt, alt. So source, in this source, you need to specify the location of the image. Now the image location may be two types, whether it could be on your local, that is on your system, or it could be on the internet. So now let's say I will be using one of the image which is on my system.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can you go a bit slow because I'm not able to practice with you simultaneously. You're going a bit
Okay.
too fast.
Okay, fine. I'll slow down my speed. Images. Okay. So search for an image. Yes. But now in VS Code, this is a image tag, the source code. So you need to specify the source where the image is. Right. So now image source, just click on backslash and you'll be having all the locations where your current file is. So I'll be taking image. You can take any of your image which is present on your system, but I am taking this image. This is also present on my system. And alt. The alt is used for showing some text for some, let's say, yeah. So in case there is a browser issue or internet issue, or there is some problem with the image, so there should be some error message or some text showing that so and so is a problem, or this is an image, so loading issue. So some kind of text will be useful. So let's say, you can say icon. So I am saving it, and let's see on the browser. So you can see this is an image. So this Google image was there on my local system. I am using that onto my code. Google. Now let's say if there is there is some issue. Now I am wantedly keeping this one to let you know like what is the use of this alt. Now I have purposely made it incorrect image location. I am saving it. Now let's go to the browser. So you can see that icon, the alt, the text which we have present kept in the alt will be displayed here. So generally, if there is any content, practical world, if the image is having some kind of text on the image, that kind of text, if you write in the alt, will be useful for the people if in some situations where we have some internet issues or server issues, kind of issues. That time this alt, that content in the alt will be useful for us. Okay, this is the use of alt. So image, I told you, right, there are two kinds of things. So now what we have done is the image which we have on our local system. Now we will try to take an image which is on the internet. Let's say some mountains. Okay. So this is the URL of that image. I'll take this image. I'll take this URL and place it in my source of the image. This is the source of the image, and alt, I'll say it is a mountain. Yeah, I'm saving the file, and there is some mistake in this. Okay, alt. This page is getting loaded, but we need this page, the image, to be loaded. Copy image address. Yeah, now we have got the image. So you can see it is taking like almost the entire screen, right? So now you can control even that using the HTML itself. But used to use like go for HTML for sizing, padding, and other styles. We generally go for CSS to control all these things, the size, height, and other things. Okay. So for HTML, we have the attribute as width. Width you can specify in pixels. So I'll be giving it some 700 pixels width, and height, let's say it's a 500 pixels height. Now save the content what you have, save the changes, and go back. Now you can see the size has been reduced. Now furthermore, if you want to change the size, you can change it Let's say I'll make it 70 and other one as 50. It has become very small. Right, no problem. Can make it say 350 and 470. Yeah, now it looks good. So this is all about image. So in the image, so this one, what we have done means from the local thing is known as relative image, relative path. So I will specify that relative image source. And this is absolute image source. Okay. Relative image source, absolute image source. So this height and width and height are the attributes of the image tag. Image is an element and height and width are the attributes of it. Okay. I think for this page, image, yeah. Generally in some web pages or most of the web pages, you can see like there is going to be an icon, and when you click on that icon, you will be redirected to some other thing. So that is nothing but an use of an image tag inside an anchor tag. Anchor tag is this A is the anchor tag. So let's see how it works. Before that, okay. So let's say I'll be opening an anchor tag, and I will say I'll give the URL as https google.com. Now in this inside the anchor tag, I'll be using an image tag. Okay. Image tag, and I will take my the same image. I will give it as that icon. And just now we have talked about the attribute width, right? So width, you can specify the width even in percentages. So this time I will use a percentage. Let's say 15%. Here this is given in pixels. Here this is given in 15%. Now what 15% is? Let's say the entire space which you are going to cover is 100%. So in this 100%, only a small space of 15% we are going to use for the icon. So I am going to save this. So you can see, right, the size of the image is decreased. Now when you click on this Google, see, the Google page will be opened. So this is how you use a image tag inside a anchor tag. So you need to,
Hello, excuse me, sir. I have a doubt.
yes.
Sir, on what basis you are telling that it is a relative image source and absolute image source?
Image source. So this image is present on my local computer. Okay, and this image I am getting it from the internet.
Okay.
Got my point?
So the image which includes the protocols and domain name, that's from absolute.
Yes.
All right, sir.
So this is all about image tag. Now I think the page has got huge. I will take another file. Let's say bootcamp 2.html. We need to save the file with the extension of .html. Be careful with that. So, right. So there is a shortcut for getting all these things. You need to, when you create a file, you need to press Shift 1. As soon as that is, you will get an exclamatory mark. When you get the exclamatory mark, this is called emit abbreviation. So when you just click on this emit, this entire template what you are getting is called as a boilerplate. So this all you don't need to get fear about. Just you can think that this is a basic HTML structure, basic HTML page structure of the page structure. Okay, this is called as boilerplate. Okay, now we'll be learning something about list. So lists. Under the title, I'll be mentioning it as lists. Okay. Now in list, we are having, there are two kinds of lists. That is a order list and unordered list. Okay. First we will be dealing with unordered list. Unordered list. Right. Unordered list. So the tag for unordered list is UL. Under this, inside this UL, whatever things you want to write will be specified under this UL. Now LI stands for list item. UL is the unordered list. LI is the list item. Okay. So let's say I'll be having a paragraph here. I'll be using a paragraph tag. Under this paragraph tag, I will say companies. Companies or list of companies. List of companies. So any company name like say Google. Then say Amazon, Apple, Tesla. So these are like the 4 companies. Okay. Now let's save this. Okay. Again, I'll be starting my live server, and as soon as I start my live server, so this is the output what we have got. Hope it is visible. Okay. So this is a paragraph tag, list of companies, and these 4 things are the list items. So you can see these are the circles, right? So this thing is generally used by looking at these dots. You can say this is an unordered list, and even there is an attribute for it. There is an attribute called as type. Type. So in this type, we can have circle, type as circle, save the content, and view on the browser. So you can see, right, the fully blacked one have been changed to the circles. So this is a small attribute of unordered list. Not only circle, there are something else as called as square. So you can see the content, the icons have been changed to the square in shape. Now the default one what we got is called as disk. DI, okay, disk. So this is the disk. When you use type is equal to disk, this is a format how you are going to get. So attributes gives some styles, styles to the code. But generally it is recommended not to use all these things in the HTML. We have something as called as CSS, which we'll be learning now. So all those things can be done using CSS. So this is the unordered list. Now coming into ordered list. Ordered list. Okay. Now the tag for ordered list is OL. Ordered L list. Ordered list. Under the ordered list, you are going to have again list items. So let's say we'll take the same list items. Okay, the same list items. Now save the content. Let's see how it looks. Right. So there is a change 1, 2, 3, 4. We are giving a numbering. So numbering is nothing but there is an order. So that is why it is called as ordered list. Now even that numbering, the style of numbering could be changed using attribute of order list, the attribute type. So there are 5 types. Numbering is a default one. You can use capital numbering, small a, B, C, D, I, like Roman numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and small I. Small I is nothing but this. I will show you. And I'm going to select the type as I, save the content. You can see the changes will be like this. The numbering, ordering will be in this way. So this is all about list. Now you can use nested list as well. Nested list. So under nested list, let's say I'll be taking OL, LI. I'll be having, okay, I won't give it a comment. I will use it instead in a paragraph. Okay, under okay, now under list item, I will take as Google. Now even Google has some sub products, right? So let's say here I can take UL as well. Not only OL, I can take UL as well. So I will. So there are some products of Google. So we have Google Maps. Okay. Now again we have Google Drive. Then we have what more? Browser, Chrome browser. This is one list item. Another list item could be your Amazon. Now again, Amazon, under Amazon, you can have say AWS and much more things are there of Amazon. So just to understand, to know the concept of nested list, I'm showing it. So after doing this, save the content and go to the live server. So this is how we are going to get the output, right? The nested list, which we have written in a paragraph tag. 1, 2. This Google and Microsoft, Amazon were written in the OL tag. Ordered list. These three are unordered list. Right? This is called the nesting of list. Okay. Then we have something called as HTML and entities. So HTML entities is like, so let's say I'll take a paragraph tag and I'll be using it as, I'll be writing something as, say, paragraph is written using p tag, right? So this is how I have written it. So my intention is to display this content on my web page. Let's see. I have saved the content. I have got paragraph is written using only till written using. I didn't get the angular brackets and the p. So this is why, because HTML doesn't accept these things. So if you go to the HTML, search for HTML entity tags, there are many tags. So for using that, less than, greater than, so you need to use this symbol ampersand LT ampersand GT. Not only that, let's say paragraph is used using, okay, now I want spacing between, like number of spacings between the paragraph is and written using. I am using this, I'm saving the content and I want to display it. So there is no change. So even the spacing will not be entertained. So if you want to get the space, you need to use an entity called as ampersand NVSC. So you can use it for multiple times. Save the code. So I have used it for 3 times. You can see there are 3 spacings between is and written. So A ampersand NBSC. So NBSC stands for no breaking space. Okay. Then, so how to write this? Nothing but this. You need to use ampersand. So first less than, right? LT. Then ampersand GT semicolon. So this is the way how you write. Save the code and so you can see the brackets have been, Angular brackets are getting displayed. So why these entities are used? Because the symbols like pound, yan, euro, these symbols are generally not available on our keyboard to use it. So in some cases, if you want these symbols to be displayed on your web page, so you can use these entities in the code to display these symbols. So let's see. I'll copy this found image, found thing. I will use it symbol for found is, yeah, this is the way how I'm using it, saving the code. So this is the entity, ampersand pound semicolon. So the symbol for pound is, this is the symbol for pound. So this is the use of entities, HTML entities. Then moving on, I'll be taking a new file, bootcamp.html. Now emit, this is a boilerplate. Now in this file, we will be discussing completely about forms, RMS forms. Now forms, in our day-to-day lives, we see many forms like payment form, registration form, admission form, and so on. So how these forms are actually designed. So that designing we are going to see now. So HTML forms. So it will be starting with a tag form. So it is giving as an action, and here we need to actually specify the location where our data, the user will fill the data, right? That data will be stored in a location. That location we need to store here. As if now we are leaving it as blank. Okay. Now let's say we are having a name in our form template. We are going to design a template of a form. So we'll be having few things like name, phone number, then email address, then what else? Date of birth.
Roshan,
Yes.
like, could we skip the forms part? Like, I don't think so. It's like that necessary for basics of HTML.
Okay. Okay.
Because already
So
there is some delay at the start. That's why.
yes. Okay. Then till now, till this, what we have done, we will have a small kind of activity, or let's say it's a kind of assignment thing. So let's say we'll be building a resume for a person. So we'll change the title as resume. So this is gonna be our activity for the day. So under body, generally resume, right? So we'll be using a h1 tag. H1 tag. We'll write it as resume. Then h2 tag. Under h2 tag, let's say we'll be giving our name. Let's say Emily. H2. Then after my name, I want an HR to give a separation between the name and the content. And generally in a resume, yes.
Excuse me. You know what? I'll just take it from here. We'll start with CSS, then we'll move on to resume, I guess.
Okay, fine. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Roshan. This is me, Abdul Mohit Khan. So we'll be beginning with CSS, and then if time permits, we'll go with JavaScript. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Hello, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, just start with a new project here. New folder. Okay, open this in VS Code now. Okay, this is the file folder, right? We'll make a new file, index.html. So basically, I think so. It's already explained this. Just call the boilerplate. Now we'll begin with CSS. So basically, what CSS is, it adds beautification to your HTML. HTML is basically markup. So what CSS does is it adds design and colors to your markup. So we can just say it like CSS. It is makeup on your markup, like that. Okay, so how do you include CSS in your HTML? So for that, there are like 3 ways. First way is, just a second. Yeah, so there are 3 ways to include CSS on your HTML. First is internal. Second is external. And third is inline. We'll discuss each of them one by one. So yeah, we'll start with inline first. Inline, as you can say, it's like it is put in your HTML tag. We'll just create a quick tag here. P tag. This is Bootcamp. Yeah. Now, what we can do here is we need to put inline CSS, inline styling to it. So what we can do is we can just, for example, if you want to change the color of it, so we can put style. Now, what this style is an attribute. So we'll keep writing it down here. Style. Yeah. So style, we can just change color to red. Now, we'll just host this live, Alt L, Alt O. Okay. Second. So yeah, we got this. This is a bootcamp. It's in red color. Camp. So try one more thing. What we can do is color blue. Yeah, what is in blue? So there's one way. Then the next way is external CSS. Now to do that, what we need to do is we need to create a CSS file. So how we'll do that? Create a folder. Styles.css. Yeah, great. Now we need to link this CSS file to our HTML file. So link tag style sheet href styles.css. Great. So this is basically external CSS. This is the HTML file. We make a link tag. What this link is, it's a style sheet, and what it links to is styles.css file. Yeah. So now you have made this styles.css file. Now you need to tell this CSS file that this HTML tag, I want it in certain color. How will you achieve that? So for that, what you can do is we need to give this an identity. We need to give this tag an identity. So for example, its first identity is it's a p tag. Okay, so we'll start with that. The p tag. So p color crimson. So this is the syntax of a CSS thing. This is a selector. This is the property, and this is the value. This right here. CSS. Selector. Property value. Great. Syntax done. Yeah. So we need all the p tags to be of crimson color. Let's see if that happens. Okay, see, it has happened. Now one more beautiful thing about one more thing about CSS HTML web development is you can edit your code from anywhere. For example, if you want to change this, so one major tool when it comes for web developers is inspect element. Like everyone uses this. So we can just go here. This is our complete markup. And ignore this. Yeah, this is a complete markup. Once again. Yeah. There's a complete markup, like there's a bootcamp. It's same as what we have written here. This part. So we can just click this. See, this is our p tag. Our color is crimson, like that. So this helps basically identify what we have done and what we can still do with it. So I can just come here, change the color to blue again to see how it happened, but it does not happen on your VS Code. It just happens here as a reference. Once you refresh it, it goes back to normal. So yeah, that was external CSS. And then we have done the selector as p tag. Like now there are two more selectors. Once again, one is by just using their tag name. Next is by ID, and the next is class. Now we'll go with IDs first. Now, for example, okay, this is P, right? And this is an ID. Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to give it an attribute ID, and we can just keep it first ID. Yeah. So basically ID should be unique. It should only be to one specific tag. You can't have multiple tags with same IDs. That's not the case with CSS here. It's an ID. Now to access that ID, what we'll do is we'll use hashtag ID name. That's it. This is our selector, as we have discussed in this syntax. Selector, property, and value. Selector, we can choose property, color, and then value lime green. Yeah, that's it. Selector, property, color. Hopefully it changes here on live. Yeah, it has changed. Now one more property is class. So what if you have like multiple p tags? Now I need to change both of these to some other color. So what we can do is class. 1 second. You can do this by holding down left alt, and then select multiple stuff like this. Anyways. As first class, yeah. Now copy this, go to styles. Now to access class is by using a dot first class, and then color. This thing, I don't know what's name is. Yeah, see, we have two classes called first class, and they're in this color. Yeah, that's it. How to select classes by tag name, syntax is so and so, and then we have external class done by using link tag. Then we have internal. Internal is basically more or less the same. Okay, I'll just zoom in a bit. Sorry. So I'll just give a quick recap. Yeah, CSS basically it is makeup or your markup. Markup is what? Your HTML. Yeah, so there are three ways to include CSS in your file. One is internal, one is external. External, as we have discussed, it is by using this link tag. And then we have inline. Inline also we have discussed by using it here. Second. Style, color. This inline. This inline. This external. Okay. Inline external, and one more is internal CSS. So like basically what we do is after the body tag, we put a style attribute. And in this, instead of putting our CSS here, we'll just put it here. It reflects here. Yeah, see, it has reflected back. That's all about internal CSS. Basically, like in live application and real world application, we don't use internal CSS that much. So it's not that significant. So characters are done. And now we'll just, move on with some properties that are like mostly used. First property we'll discuss is border. Now, what border is, as the name suggests, it gives a border to whatever tag you're defining it to. For example, you know what, we'll use some different tag, div tag. Basically, it's a division tag. It's used for divisions. It's the most common tag used. Now we'll give it a class. Border. Okay. Now we'll access this in our styles.css. So we'll give it a border. You know what, we'll do it in our inspect element because that way you'll have more options to play with. So as you can see, you can't see your div element because it is empty. You need to fill something inside this to actually make it show something. So we'll just type something here. Bootcamp again. See, it has come here. Now we'll just play around with it a bit. Yeah, see, as you can see here, it shows that it has a border class. And now we'll just put some border to it. So we type border here, and then see, nothing happens here. So basically the syntax for border is you need to specify the thickness of the border. So 1 pixel, and then you need to specify if the border is, solid or it is dashed or dotted. So solid, see, now it has come 1 pixel and solid. 1 pixel solid, and then now we can define the color red. So this is our div tag. It has a border of 1 pixel. The border is solid and the border is in red color. Okay. So we can just copy this here. Like basically what I do is I first write it in inspect element and then I do it here in my CSS. So that's one practice you can do. You'll know what happens. Basically, you'll know what happens first and then you'll code it. Okay, so there's a bootcamp again. That's all about borders. Okay, 1 second, if you can. Yeah, see, you have dashed borders now. One of the properties of borders, they are dashed, they are solids, etc., etc., etc. Okay, now what if you want the border to be only on the bottom? So that's also we can do border bottom 1 pixel solid green. See, we have border all around the element and then we have border on the bottom. That way we can change like respectively which border we want at what position. So border, we can just, border top 3 pixels this time with dotted. See, we have a 3 pixel of border and it is dotted and it's on the top. So just copy these here and then paste it here. Now that's all about borders. Now we'll move on to the next thing. Now we'll move on to margins. Yeah. So basically, by default, every element has its own margin. Okay, this one does not have. Okay. When you come to a p tag, as you can see, it has like when you inspect element, like right click, inspect, it gets selected. It selects this one. And then when you come down, it shows that it has a margin of 16 pixel. Now this is by default in all the p tags. It has margin of 16 pixel. Its height and width are these. Okay, you need not worry about this. But by default, it has 16 pixel of margin on top, 16 pixel of margin at the bottom, and null on either sides. So moving on, we'll play around with these margins a bit. So what if we want this thing? Once again. Now we want this to be spaced a bit from this element. So what we can do is we can put a margin here. So how we'll do that is, you know what, we'll play around in inspect element as well. Margin 4 pixel. No. What happens here is it has margin, but it has 54 pixel margin on top, 54 on the bottom, 54 on the left, and 54 on the right. See, as you can see here, we have put border 3 pixel on top, right? So it shows here 3 pixel on top, it shows here, and then margin of 54 pixel right, left, and top, bottom. See, it shows here. And then we have border of 1 pixel on bottom. You know what, we can just 9 pixel here. So it shows 9 pixel border bottom. Border 3 is 3 pixel on top. Yeah, that's it. We just reduce it to, or if you want to, make the margin only on top and on the left, we can do that. Margin top 20 pixel. So it's top on 20 pixel and left 54. So one way you can, completely configure this is just put margin. Now first is top right. So we want top 20 pixel, and then right we want 100 pixel, and then bottom we want, once again, bottom if you want like 10 pixel, and then left we want 10 pixel again. So that way we can do it. This top, right, bottom, left. And so there's that. Let's quickly write these syntaxes down. Border and then margins. Basically, the syntax for margin is margin, then top, right, bottom, left. Example. Yes. Okay, that's all about margins. Then next we have padding. Yeah. So you have once again. This is your element. Now you have 54. Once again. Now you have some margin here, some margin here, some considerable margin here, and some margin here. Now, what if you want margin from this to this, like this small bit, and this to this bit, and this to this bit? Now we can achieve that by padding. Now, once again, we'll go to our, first let's just copy this code. What we'll make one more class. Let's say around yeah. Take this, put it here. So let's play around with paddings. Now let's go here. Interesting. Paddings class. Okay, yeah. Now we'll just, put some border to it. Border 1 pixel, solid black. Now I'll put some margin 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 40 pixel, and 80 pixel. Yeah. Now we'll put some padding. Now padding is basically, as I've told you, it puts some considerable difference between your inner text and its border. We'll start with padding. What we want from 20 pixel on top, 20 pixel. It has the same syntax as, margin. Wait, top, right, bottom, and left. 20 pixel. Now, when you put 20 pixel, it assumes it's 20 pixels all around its HTML, its text. So now 20 pixel on top, then 10 pixel on right, 40 pixel on left, 50 pixel on left, sorry. You can see here 20 pixel on top, 10 on right, 50 on left, 40 on bottom. Great. Okay. Next, we have height and width. I think so. Roshan already told you about this height and width. Like what Roshan did was he was manipulating the height and width from here. Height and width like this. So now what we can do is instead of doing that, we'll do it through CSS. With height, yeah. Now take this, put it here. Second. Okay, this 51 has gone. Never mind. Let's make it again. Height. Let's play around with height. Okay. Now for the height to be shown, we'll just put some background to it. So that's one more property. Background, yeah. So a background could be color, could be a URL in image. So what we'll do is we'll first put an image and then we'll first put some color and then we'll put some image. So not here. Yep, this one. Height. Some border first, 1 pixel solid. I'll put some background. Yeah. So we'll have the background as aqua. So this is the background. Now, our main goal was to change its height and width, right? 1 second, we put some margin as well because it's connecting to the top one. Margin 20 pixel on top. Sorry, top. Then 0 on right, 0 on bottom, 0 on left. And there's that now. Height 300 pixel. So this is 300 pixel. As you can see, it reflects over here as well. Second. So this is margin, border, 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 and this is our height. I think so you guys can see this. Now we'll decrease this to 100 pixel. Let's say 200 pixel as well. Yeah, that's how you put heights and widths to something. Just put it here as well. All right. Next we have positioning. Now this is a very important topic when it comes to CSS. It's positioning. Like for this, what we'll do is we'll make a new div again. Yes, I did. Let's play around with positions. Now positionings, they are of like 5-6 types. Static, relative, absolute, also sticky. We go with them one by one. Static is basically the normal flow of the HTML page. Like these are all static. So this is just by default. If you don't mention anything, by default it is static. So this is default. Now we have relative. Relative means like when you put relative here, it is always relative to its parent. Like whatever div element we have, it is always relative to its parent. Now we'll just do that first. Also, we'll make some parent elements. Let's play around with positioning. Parent, then div. This is parent. Okay, we are going a bit deep into CSS now. Let's play around with positioning parent. Let's play around with positioning child. Yeah, parent, child. So just put some borders to everything to actually distinguish what we are doing with or playing with. Yeah. Okay, second. Okay, let's just take a quick recap again. Basically, CSS is the markup, like makeup for your markup. It has, design, it adds design and colors to your HTML. Now there are 3 types. First is internal, then we have external, and then we have inline. In internal CSS, what we have is we'll just put a style tag here somewhere, and then we'll include whatever it is in our CSS. And then we have external using link tag. This is the external CSS, like link it to a CSS file and put your CSS code here. And then next one is inline. Basically, you put a style tag and then you put your CSS here. That's it. Style, you can have multiple things as well, like style color blue, background color black. So there's that. 3 types of CSS: inline, external, as well as internal. Okay, anyways, the syntax is You have a selector. Selectors are three types: tag name, and then we have ID, and then we have class. Tag name, ID, and then class. These are mentioned where? These are mentioned as attributes where? In the tag. All right, ID and then class. Next, we'll just begin with properties. First is border. Border basically puts border. Then we have margin. Margin, it adds spacing from your element to the previous element or whatever it is there on the HTML markup. Then we have padding. Padding adds spacing from your border to your inner text or inner HTML. And then we have background. Background basically changes the complete background of your element. And then we have height and width, self-explanatory. And then we have positioning. Yeah. Next is relative. Okay. Is here border 1 pixel, solid red. Border 2 pixel, solid green. Now, as you can see here, I hope it's visible to everyone. The thing which is in red is the parent, and the thing which is in green is the child. We'll just put some margin paddings to it to make it more distinctive. Margin 10 pixel. Sorry. Margin 10 pixel. Padding 10 pixel. Copy. Yeah. I hope it's clear now. So basically this has padding of 10 pixel, and then because this thing has margin of 10 pixel, it makes more spacing around these two elements. So parent, child. Now, what if we want this element to be of, one second, change width to 300 pixel. Yeah. What if we want this to be a bit to the left or a bit to the right, the child? So what we can do is position relative left 200 pixel. So what this does is it creates positioning which is relative to its parent, and it is 200 pixels left of the parent. So yeah, relative to parent and what 200 pixels left. That's it. Simple as that. You put position and then you put left or right. Simple. Then you can also put top as 100 pixel. Okay, it has gone outside, obviously. Input top 20 pixel. Okay. Fair enough. Also, we can also do this by, percentages left of 20 pixel, yeah. Or we can do this by percentage as well, 1%. Yeah, something already done, 10 pixel, yeah. So there's that positioning with respect to our parent and where left or right of that parent. Now we have absolute. Absolute is basically, it is fixed with respect to the div. Okay, I'll explain it to you again. Okay. Let's change these. Yes. Oh no, we'll not change this. Never mind. No. Oh, okay. We'll just quickly, do these things again. Relative position, relative border, 1 pixel, solid, 1 pixel, solid, yeah. And relative left 200 pixel. 100 pixel margin. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Never mind. Now we'll do the parent thing here. Okay. Border 1 pixel solid green. And then border 2 pixels solid blue. With 200 px. Now what we'll do is we'll put some positioning to it, that is absolute. Okay, so we'll make this relative first. So for absolute to work properly, what you need to do is you need to make the ancestor of that relative. So as this is the parent, we'll make it relative. This is relative. Now what we can do is we can play around with this position absolute. Now see, it has come out of this, parent element and it has gone outside because it is bigger than it. So we'll change it top 0. See, I'll explain you properly here. Basically what happened was this was a parent element. And now as we have done the child element as, absolute and top of 0. So basically it fixates itself on the parent and it comes on top like this. It's the same thing that's happened here. So now what we want to do is what if we do is like top 0 and then right 0. It shifts here. That way we can just, nicely play around with it. Right 500 px, yes. Okay. See, as you can see, it is top of 0 pixels top, and then from right it is 0 pixels. So it is completely top right. We'll just copy this quickly, like it won't. Relative. Okay, so yeah, this happened. You know what? We'll just make 5 stuff like this. Right. Left. Bottom. Right. And then center. Okay, so we have like 5 classes of the same name. Now, without changing, like, for example, I want to change this to first, this to second, this to third, it takes so much time. So what we can do is we can just select them in the order in which they are. So what I'll do is nth of type 1. I guess this works. Yeah, once again. Okay, great. So basically what this is it selects the type of this and then first, second, third or fourth. So nth of type. Just copy it here somewhere. Right here. So now it's better. So yeah, top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left. Now we need to make this in the positions which they are meant to be. Now the first one, nth of type 1, which is in green color, we'll make it top right. So we'll just keep some width of 100 pixel and then position absolute top 0, right 0. So it's here on the top right. Similarly, we'll do these to the rest of them. Top left, right. So it should be top 0 and then left 0. Then this one. Top 0. No, we want this as bottom right, right? So we'll keep bottom 0 and then right 0. Absolute, absolute, yeah. So bottom right, now this should be bottom left, absolute. So bottom 0, left also 0. Now this is bottom right, bottom left. So we'll just height 500 px. Too much. Now you can see top right, bottom left. Now for the center one, what we can do is first absolute and then top 50%, left 50%. Or what we can do is to make it more center aligned. There's a property called text align. Center, okay, it won't work because it is absolute. So what you can just do is you can do left and then configure it by 100 pixel until it comes to the left. Yeah, this is left and then top 50 looks center only. Sorry. We will just change its top as well. It's a bit center, okay. So I think so this is clear, the positioning of absolute. It can be top. It is for this to work, its parent should be relative, and then we can put absolute to it. Then next we have fixed, and then we have sticky note. We'll skip this as we don't have much time. So I guess this much is clear. If I put this code on VS Code, the whole thing will go. So we'll just okay. Next is fonts. Now what if we want to change this font to something else? What we can do is we can import fonts from Google. So Google Fonts, yeah, Google Fonts, and then we can choose any font. We can even choose Hindi if we want, but let's take something. Yeah, we'll take this one. Let's select this style. Yeah, 1 second, remove. Yeah, regular font. Now what you want to do is you take this, copy this part, and then put it here in your VS Code. So these three, there will be like 3 link tags, and then second thing is you need to copy this. So basically this is for your HTML and this is for your CSS. So we'll change all the P tags to this font. See, all the p tags are now of that font. That's the way you can import Google Fonts. Font. First is select your style/font, copy the link tags to the markup, and then copy CSS. So we'll just do it again. Select any font, and then select this style. Go here, copy this thing, paste it here, and then copy like this part, and then paste it here. Whatever family you want, and in your CSS. So there's that about fonts. And then we'll just quickly go with 2 more properties, and then we'll have to end the session, I guess. So great. So what if there's one property called hover. So basically what happens is when your cursor it hovers over some text, it tells the CSS to change its properties. So we'll just go with that first. Yeah. Text, it says over me. Yeah, this one. Now what you want to do is when you hover over it, you want its color to change to say red. Now you might wonder why it is in red color, because all the p tags are in red color. So we can change that. Pink. Now it's in pink color. Now what we want to do is we need to change its style to hover text. When you hover over it, it should be of blue color. That's it. Put colon and then hover. Your selector and then your hover. That's it. Let's test it. See, like when you hover over it, it changes color. Okay. Now the next property is, what we'll just like when you hover over it, it should change its opacity. For example, okay, now opacity is like basically how opaque it is. When you hover, opacity should be let's say 0.4. We'll take some dark colors for this. Yeah, see, when you hover over it, it changes its opacity. From blue, it has become to light blue. So there's that. Now, if you want to, while you're developing stuff, if you want to test this, you can't just, tell it to be on hover all the time. So what we can do is we can just go to your insert element and then go here, for state on hover. See, now this is on hover state. As you can see, it's in blue color and its opacity is 0.4. We'll just try to change it. See, it's 1.4 now, and it's completely, seen. 0.4 and then minus is like obviously it won't be opaque. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 6, 7. Hopefully this much is clear. I'll repeat again. If you want to test while you're developing it, go to inspect element, right click, and then for state, and then hover. That's it. Now, give me a second. Okay, we'll just do one last thing, and those are media queries. So for example, you have your, HTML like this. Now, what if, when you're on your mobile, inspect, yeah. What happens, like this is your mobile, right? We'll just select some phone, iPhone 12 Pro. What if it's on this much size, okay? Like if it is this much size, you want it to display it in some other way. So how do you, target that? So we can do that by, media queries. So the syntax for that is you need to go to your CSS, obviously, and then you need to write @media screen, @media screen, and media screen and so and so. Now we can just take this one, or else we'll take this one. Here, when it is on so and so height, we want its height to be 120 pixel and width to be same as 120 pixel, background to be red. Okay. Okay, so the main purpose for this is to make it responsive, obviously. See, as you can see, this is of so and so width. So if it is on so and so width, for example, like we have mentioned here, if it is minimum of 580 pixels, is it minimum 580 pixels? Yep. It is of 1141, which is more than 581. So when it is above 480 pixels, it should behave like this. Okay. Less than 580 pixels, it should behave like how we mentioned it to behave here. So yeah, it's to make it responsive probably. Yes, great. Means 47 pixels. As you can see, 577 is like this. 585, it has changed. So to make the websites more responsive, we do this. We put an @media query and then specify at what height or at what width you want it to happen, and then you put the class. Just one example. Yeah, we can even put max width here. Just try that. Maximum. So what happens here? Under 580 pixels, it behaves something else, and over that, it behaves something else. See, under 580 pixels, it is now red, and over 580 pixels, it is like this. So you can just, change according to whatever height or width you want. So this everything about media queries. Also, we can even add stuff here. For example, let's add something like opacity should be 0.5. So now it has changed its opacity as well. So there's everything about media queries. No, I think so. Like I was supposed to take a session on JavaScript as well, but since we started late due to some technical difficulties, I will be, ending it here. And now, the process for certification process is, it's not as easy as, all the previous sessions. What you need to do is you need to first make a website that has, your resume. So basically just use HTML as well as CSS. You can use HTML and CSS. That's it. So I'll give you an example of how it looks like. We're going to actually, plan to teach you guys this as well, but obviously time was not there. So this one example, you can just, you need not put CSS as well, just some slight interest. You can just change your name here to something. My name. Obviously, don't copy this thing. We'll check for plagiarism as well. Just whatever tags you have learned, because in this it's this p tags, li tags, list tags, ul tags, and then also we have href. So basically, what you do is make a resume, and that should have your name, class, role, number. Okay, this should be in the HTML. Like you can make a p tag and role number, interests, hobbies, skills, and I guess that's it. It's 5 stuff, and also like photo of your favorite sports. So just put these stuff in there, and main thing is host it on GitHub. That's it. Like you do this complete stuff, you host it on GitHub, and then share that link of your website. You can get the certificate for this session, and that's it. Anyone has any questions? Okay, so if you are, confused on how to host on GitHub, we'll just probably share you a PDF on how to do that as well. Yeah, so that's it. If you want certificate for this session, you just follow these steps, like make a website, and don't copy other people's website, make it unique. Use HTML and CSS. It should have your name, class, roll number, interests, hobby, skills, and then photo of your favorite sports person. And then second is host on GitHub. So we'll just share a link of here a Google form, or I don't know what we'll do. In that, just share the website's live hosted link. That's it. Any questions? Hello, actually you're not that audible. Could you speak a bit louder?
Actually, I have my ID on codepen.com. So can I post those things?
No, CodePen was just an example. Like you don't even need to use this actually. I just give an example like how a website should look like, how a resume should look like. We need to share it by tomorrow. You know what? We'll have a next session on 27th. So at the start of that session, we'll share a link or a Google form, and in that you can send your links. So basically, you have till 28th, I guess. All right. Any more questions? Welcome. Also, like, I'm extremely sorry, like we're supposed to start at exact 7. Also, like there were more stuff from CSS like Flexbox and everything. Also, JavaScript was there. So as time was not there, we had to cut short this session. Oh, the next session will be on 27 and it will be on Angular and Firebase. A bit advanced, but it's the way it is. Anyways, thank you guys.